What we're going to look at in this video is the overview, really, just a recap of the purpose of Ren Shui life cultivation and the purpose of emotional freedom training, which is really about freedom from emotional patterning and unhealthy patterns of consciousness. So just a reminder of where this training, the emotional freedom training, fits in with the whole of the One Gong 9-level system. Even though it affects every part, obviously, it's specifically correlating with Ling One, which are the patterns of consciousness, and will also be touching into Tong One, which is the 5 essential qualities of the heart, the 5 Shin, and then also slightly with Ming One, which is a continuation of Ling One, working on the patterns of consciousness. But everything is a totality, remember, so it will be affecting all parts of anybody's practice. Whatever method you're practicing, it will enhance everything, and everything helps everything else. And in the Ren Shui system, our goal is the flowering of self-realization and wisdom. It's all about reaching our true self, or having our true self manifest, so that we're really behaving and being a higher evolved version of ourselves, which is the destiny of every human being. And Ren Shui gives this pathway to self-realization and wisdom. And there are many, many rungs on the ladder of self-realization and wisdom. And enlightenment is one of the major rungs on the ladder of self-realization and wisdom, but it's not the end place. It's just a major goal, well, not goal, but a major place of, I can't think what the word is, but it's just a big rung on the ladder of self-realization. And if you just imagine that ladder goes on and on and on and on and on, and there are always greater levels of self-realization and wisdom to reach. But once we reach the state of self-realization called enlightenment, that is when the true self is truly and fully manifesting. Until we reach that place, our false self, which is our patterns, are running the show. And as long as the patterns are in the way, we cannot realize our true self. So we have these various 9 methods of One Gong to move up this ladder of self-realization and wisdom. And of course, when we reach wisdom, the whole point of experiencing greater wisdom is that I mean, obviously I'm not there yet, so I can't say from personal experience, but we operate differently. We're operating from a different plane of consciousness, where we don't have these unhealthy patterns anymore, and we don't have our emotional patterning anymore. All of that is cleared away. And so we are actually seeing reality and experiencing reality. For example, one of the patterns is polarization. It's a very, very strong pattern at the moment. You probably noticed in the world, people for and against vaccine, for example. That is a pattern of polarization. And it comes with very strong emotional reactions. And once one reaches true self, then there is a completely different, as far as I understand, because I have sort of some vague concept of it, is that once we reach the true self, then there is no longer the polarization, because that pattern has gone. So one will be viewing things completely differently. So this is our goal, to reach a place of reality. And then from that place, we think differently, we feel differently, we behave differently, and we therefore will be behaving differently to other people out in the world, and making wiser decisions, because the overriding I can't think of words today, because this is a place of wisdom. We are making decisions from a place of wisdom rather than a place of ignorance, because the false self is very much to do with ignorance, and ignorance means that we are ignorant of the truth. And of course, in our world today, in our society today, even with best interests at heart, if we're operating from a place of ignorance, we are not making wise decisions, even though we may think we are. And this is the trickery and the sneakiness of the false self, is that we can really believe in something and really think something is true and right. But actually, from a higher level of wisdom, we will come to see that it maybe wasn't the best thing. So there's more in the other videos that I may have said on this in the level 1 training. So you can go back and have a look at those. There's so much more that one could say on this, but for now, I think that's enough. And of course, one of the main goals of the Ren Shui life cultivation, or any life cultivation and personal development system, is to cultivate what in Ren Shui we call the 5 treasures of life. And these 5 are happiness, health, a sense of well-being, growth, so we grow ourselves, and then contribution, we're able to contribute. These are what we really want. Underneath everything that we're striving for, if we dig deeper and deeper and deeper, what we find is these are what we really want. And these are the goals of Ren Shui. But of course, we have these 10 fundamental patterns of consciousness which get in the way. And I'm not going to go through them here. You can look at the other videos in the portal about that, and we'll be talking more about them during the program. But these 10 fundamental patterns keep us imprisoned, and they keep us imprisoned in ignorance and unhappiness and sickness. And from a planetary perspective, they keep the world imprisoned in problems and pandemics and everything that we don't want. They cause the consequences of our actions. For example, global warming or pollution, or whatever consequences we humans have created. So remember, the false self is the emotional patterning and the patterns of the consciousness, and the true self is all of that taken away. And taking responsible action and changing our patterns is part of what the true self wants us to do. So the way out of all of this, of our ignorance, into freedom and truth and reality and wisdom, is from an emotional perspective, what I've called the 3 steps to emotional freedom, which is studying the theory of emotions and understanding what they really are, their purpose, how to identify them, how to label them, the theory, and there's a lot of theory to understanding emotions. And then once we've started to open our eyes and understand emotions more, then we start to grow our awareness around emotions and how they play out within us. And then we learn techniques to apply to start dissolving and clearing our emotions and our emotional patterning. And that, of course, is what we're doing in this program. So that is a brief overview of the purpose of Ren Shui and the emotional freedom training.